Safety Control Coordination Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2024. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41-1, I wish to report to the House that I have received a message from the Senate regarding the appointment of senators to a mediation committee on the Food and Feed Safety Control Coordination Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2024. The message conveys that pursuant to the provisions of Article 113 of the Constitution, the Speaker of the Senate has appointed the following senators to the Mediation Committee on the bill. Senator Peris Pesi Tobiko CBS MP, Senator Alan Chesang MP, Senator Alexander Mundigi MP, Senator David Wakoli MP, Senator Daniel Maanzo MBS MP, Senator Beatrice Akinyi Ogola MP, and Senator Beth Siengo MP. Honorable members, you will recall that on 18th October 2024, the House rejected part of the Senate amendments to the Food and Feed Safety Control Coordination Bill 2024, thereby committing the bill to a mediation committee in accordance with the provisions of Article 112(2)(b) of the Constitution. On the part of the National Assembly, I appointed the following members to the mediation committee, having consulted with the leader of the majority party and the leader of the minority party. The Honorable Dr. John Mutunga MP, the Honorable Sabina Chege MP, the Honorable Gabriel Kagombe MP, the Honorable Monica Marubo MP, the Honorable Martin Peters Owino MP, the Honorable Joseph Kimilo MP, and the Honorable Patrick Kibagendi MP. Honorable members, following the appointment of senators, the mediation committee is now fully constituted as contemplated under Article 113 of the Constitution. I therefore call upon the committee to expeditiously consider the matter and submit a version of the bill for consideration by the Houses of Parliament, bearing in mind the timelines provided for under Article 113(4) of the Constitution. I thank you. Honorable members, the second communication is a message from His Excellency, the President. On the 24th, the 2024 State of the Nation address to Parliament by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya. Honorable members, Standing Order 42-1 relating to messages from the President provides that the Speaker shall read to the House any message from the President delivered to the Speaker for communication to the House. In this regard, I wish to inform the House that I received a message from His Excellency the President conveying that he intends to deliver the 2024 State of the Nation address to Parliament pursuant to Article 132(1) of the Constitution on Thursday, 21st November 2024. Honorable members, Article 132(1)(b) and (c) of the Constitution states, and I quote, "The President shall address a special sitting of Parliament once every year and may address Parliament at any other time. And once every year, report in an address to the nation on all the measures taken and the progress achieved in the realization of the national values referred to in Article 10. Publish in the Kenya Gazette the details of the measures and progress under subparagraph 1. Submit a report for the debate to the National Assembly on the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic." Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of the Constitutional Standing Order 222, I wish to notify all members that a joint sitting of Parliament will take place on Thursday, 21st November 2024 at 2:30 p.m. in the National Assembly Main Chamber, Parliament buildings. I'm aware that the offices of the clerks of the Houses of Parliament have since commenced preparations for the day. I now direct the clerk to ensure the notification of the joint sitting is published in the Kenya Gazette for the information of members of the House and the general public. Thank you. Yes,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 87 to inquire through you, Chair, that how comes that this House...
Which Chair?
Through you, Mr. Speaker, that how come Mr. Chairs of the House leadership, part of the minority and the majority are empty. It is only last week that we had a serious discussion on the absenteeism of chairmen of committees and leadership, and a proposal was made on disciplinary mechanism to be undertaken. I would want to inquire what action shall be taken against the House leadership from both ends. Honorable Barashina was patched, but today he's here and he's been here. And the person who was calling on him, on his absenteeism, is not here, Mr. Speaker. How can this House proceed? What is this that makes the leadership to lack the desire to be here, that we want to condemn the members when they don't come here? Now we are struggling to call on the quorum, and the leadership who would have contributed to the quorum are absent in the House, Mr. Speaker. I stand guided on this particular question.
Yes, KJ?
Mr. Speaker, I know the bashing of leadership and chairmen has become very popular. It is only a request from one of the chairs of committees that let this condemnation not be a blanket condemnation. There are chairs who are diligently, judicially, and faithfully ever in the House, including the Honorable Chair for the JLAC Committee, the Honorable Chair for Social Protection, yours truly, the Chair of Communication, Information and Innovation, the Chair, Wanjiko Mohia, for Integration. They are normally in the House dutifully, all the way to the close of business. So as the condemnation of chairs becomes so popular in this House, kindly let it not be a blanket condemnation. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And the Chair for Transport, once in a while.
And KJ, the correct English is judiciously, not judicially. Judiciously. Yes, Oundo?
Speaker, I know I might not be qualified to offer you any advice or any counsel, but where I come from, we know we are fishermen. We always say the small fish can actually advise the big fish. And we also say, Honorable Speaker, where we come from, that when you feed the guinea fowl, don't forget the chicken. The guinea fowl can fly away, the chicken will always remain. There are members in this House, Honorable Speaker, who come here at 2:15, and they leave at exactly 7 when the House rises.
I confirm that you are one of them.
And when the few people who come only to undertake national duties, when they are here, they are given first preference to talk, and those who toil and sit here and caring unflinchingly in order to give honor to the August House are ignored, and ignored badly. So I just wanted to, I know I don't deserve to advise you, but remember the saying that whatever you give the guinea fowl, do not deny the chicken. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Oundo, on the first, you are correct. On the second, you are wrong. No member is ignored. And if you are using yourself as an example, you have opportunities to speak here more than any average member. You speak more than any average member. Yes. Let's go on. For cases member, the leaders are your leaders. And in case you have any grievance, you tell them. You inform them that you are not happy. I used to see a rule in some office that read, rule number 1, the boss is always right. Rule number 2, in case of any doubt, refer to rule 1. Yes, Ferdinand?
No, I don't want to talk about that. Mr. Speaker, sir, I think that what my colleague has just mentioned is very, I'm always here. And it's very, very disappointing. We actually representative for the people. And the chairman, apart from a few of them, are never in the House. So, and of course, most of these things go through our chairman. So I think it has to come from the chair, from the speaker's position, to warn the chairs of various committees to be here present and deliver some of these things, because we are getting very embarrassed. And I know we are actually live on the TV. And you find that the chairmen of various committees are not in the House. Speaker, do something about it.
Thank you. I think let's go on, honorable members. Next order. Yes, yes, Melly.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to also input on this discussion that the chairs and the leadership, yes, are like any other human being, and they have a lot of commitments. But the blanket condemnation that the chairs and the leadership are always absent is not true, because here we have so many chairs. I've seen chair agriculture, chair East Africa, and even the vice chairs. So I want to say that as much as there is need that we dedicate ourselves to the duties of the House, it isn't true that all of them are always out. And I think you gave an advice, Chair, Mr. Speaker, as a leader of this House, that we all need to commit ourselves to our representatives and to our duties of this republic. And that is what we always do. But the few who have actually made mistakes, we really need to bring them back and show them the need to be here every other time when the House rises, until when the House sits, until when it rises. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Parashina. Yes, next to you.
Oh, okay, thank you, Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I'm so much grateful. I think today I'm the lucky person, because the other time the leader or the majority leader lied to this House that I always don't come to this House. I always come, and I always make my good comments and contribution. So,
order, Parashina.
Yes.
The word lies and parliamentary withdraw.
I withdraw, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay, go on.
So, Mr. Speaker, I really want to say that I might come again to request that to apologize and withdraw that statement also from him, because I always come here to articulate issues, and I know the only time that the majority leader comes here, or our leaders, they only come here when they are pushing an agenda, but they don't come to the floor on the contributions of the real issue that's affecting our country or issue that we need to debate. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, let's not overflog this matter. I know that many members, some chairmen are always here. There are also others who are persistent offenders who don't come. So I have advised you before, members, that we Chairman McClub, there is a chairman sitting next to you. I have advised you, members, and I want to advise you again. In my many years in Parliament, the Speaker always found me in the House, and I followed the Speaker when he's leaving the House. Always. Just pick up that good habit, and this House will have no problem. You know, it is a great honor to sit in this House. Your right to speak on the floor of this House must be equal to your duty to listen to those who listen to you when you speak. Because what I've noticed is that members, as soon as they prosecute the agenda, they exit. You can't expect to be listened to if you don't listen to others. And that is what debate is all about. And if we can impress that, especially our colleagues, first-timers, you will go a long way. And out there, your voters watch. I see people in social clubs glued on phone when the House is sitting, and they're watching proceedings to see whether my member of parliament is in the House, whether my member of parliament speaks, and if he speaks or she speaks, do they make sense? The public is no longer the old public who wait for leo katika bunge. They follow everything that we do here. So let's invite Honorable Soro and your team on both sides of the House. Ensure that when the House starts, he's just come. Ensure that when the House starts, we appreciate that you have other duties out there. But when the House starts, at least let's have leadership on either side of the House. If it's not the leader, the whip. If it's not, your deputies, so that they can be able to help the House move on. Today we rang the quorum bell for about 15 minutes. And I kept on asking where the chief whip was. But since you are here, you've purged yourself of the contempt. Let's move on to the next order.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first I want to apologize for walking in late when you are on the chair while conducting the responsibility that you actually gave us as far as EALA games are concerned, and that is why you don't see the entire leadership here. They are working on everything that pertains to the EALA games that will be commencing in 2 weeks. So they instructed me to actually leave the meeting and come here and join you, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, November 14th, 2024. Number 1, the following legal notices from the Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry. That is A, notice number 176 of 2024, relating to the Sustainable Waste Management Extended Producer Responsibility Regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum. B, legal notice number 177 of 2024, relating to the Environmental Management and Coordination Water Quality Regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum. C, legal notice number 178 of 2024, relating to the Environmental Management and Coordination Waste Management Regulations 2024 and explanation memorandum. D, legal notice number 179 of 2024, relating to the Environmental Management and Coordination Sand Harvesting Regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum. Legal notice number 180 of 2024, relating to the Environmental Management and Coordination Air Quality Regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum. Legal notice number 181 of 2024, relating to the Environmental Management and Coordination, Management and Control of Plastic Packaging Materials Regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum. And legal notice number 182 of 2024, relating to the Environmental Management and Coordination, Management of Toxic and Hazardous Chemicals and Materials Regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum. Honorable Speaker, the reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2024 and the certificates therein in respect of the following institutions. A, Kenya Industry and Entrepreneurship Project Credit Number IDA 6268KE, State Department for Industry, De-risking, Inclusion and Value Enhancement of Pastoral Economics Drive in the Horn of Africa, Project Credit Number 7139KE, State Department for Livestock Development, Enable Youth Kenya Program, ADF Loan Number 210015003888950, State Department for Crop Development. D, Kenya Livestock Commercialization Project Number 200002339, Loan Number 20003565 and 200003566, State Department for Livestock Development. E, Kenya Town Sustainable Water Supply and Sanitation Program, AFDB Loan Number 20000000501, Tana Water Works Development Agency. Nairobi Ring Transmission Line Project, AFD Credit Number CKE 106801N, AFD Credit Number CKE 6012.01, AFD Credit Number CKE 103001B, EIB Credit Number 25.367KE, and GOK, Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited, and de-risking, inclusion and value enhancement of pastoral economics drive in the Horn of Africa, Credit Number 7139KE, Kenya Development Corporation. I beg to lay, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Is there, Osoro, is there any difference between Roman 2B and G. For the record, it appears to be one and the same. Roman 2, B and G.
For the record, Honorable Speaker, the one is the State Department for Livestock, Honorable Speaker, and the other one is State Department for Livestock Development
And Kenya Development Corporation.
and Kenya Development Corporation, Honorable Speaker.
Okay.
That is the difference, yeah.
Next, Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, the 13th of November 2024, a report by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on its consideration of the Public Audit Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2024.
Thank you. Chairperson, Constitutional Implementation Oversight Committee, CIOC. Who is the chairman? The chairperson? Honorable Mshomba, is she in the house? Where is the vice chair? Is Kamket here? Yes. Yes, CNN. Are you a member of the committee?
Yes, Speaker, I can confirm I'm a member of this committee.
Do you have the paper to lay?
No. Just wanted to tell you I will inform them to be in the house in time.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Member for Bura. Yakuba Ado.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Request for a statement regarding the impact of road works by the Kenya National Highway Authority, KENHA, at Kona Punda area along the Mororo Nairobi Highway in Bura Constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the impact of the ongoing roadworks by the Kenya National Highway Authority at Konapunda area along Mororo, Nairobi Highway in Bura Constituency. Honorable Speaker, early this year, the country experienced heavy rains. Although the rains were a blessing following the devastating drought that was witnessed in the preceding year, the rains also caused adverse effects in Bura Constituency, among other constituencies in Kenya. In Bura Constituency, River Tana burst its banks changed its course and traversed Mororo town, which was affected by the heavy flooding. The flood waters caused the loss of 43 lives, displacements of residents and destruction of property, farms, infrastructure, and livestock in Mororo and Madogo areas and the environs. Honorable Speaker, after the water level subsided, KENHA commenced works to rehabilitate the washed away section of Mororo Nairobi Highway at Konapunda area near Mororo town. The residents of Mororo area, the residents of Mororo town and Madogo are concerned that KENHA has been constructing huge culverts at the area without having undertaken due consideration of the environmental and social impacts of the project. The residents of these two towns feel less integrated in the ongoing works, which also places them at the risk of losing access to their farmlands. Further, huge clouds of dust from the construction sites are polluting the environment and exposing residents, including pedestrians and boda riders, together with their pillion passengers, to respiratory hazards as they go about with their activities. Honorable Speaker, it's against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1. A report on the environmental and social impact assessment and public engagement undertaken by KENHA regarding the construction of culverts across the new course of River Tana at Konapunda, including the justification for regularizing the new course instead of taking measures to revert the waters. B. Compensation plans, if any, for the residents of Mororo and Madogo who are affected by the ongoing road rehabilitation works by KENHA, particularly for the farmers and for their farmlands likely to be lost. 3. Or C. Measures put in place to manage or reduce the dust caused from the construction works in order to guarantee a conducive environment for road users, particularly border riders and residents living near the site. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, a report on the skilled and the unskilled locals that the KENHA and the contractor has engaged in the ongoing construction of the culvert at the said site, that is Konapunda, and the construction of the new bridge that is connecting Mororo to Garissa, specifying the number, the names, and the categories for those skilled and unskilled laborers. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Yakub. Honorable members, allow me to recognize a delegation from the Parliament of Uganda. I wish to recognize a delegation of 6 members of staff from the Hansard Department of the Parliament of Uganda seated in the Speaker's Gallery. They are welcome to observe the proceedings of the National Assembly. Members, you remember yesterday the Speaker of Uganda was also in the gallery to pay respect to our House. Thank you. On my behalf and on your behalf, we welcome them to our Parliament. Beatrice Elachi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to give a general statement regarding the demise of Prophetess Mary Akasa. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 43, I wish to make a statement regarding the passing on of the founder of Jerusalem Church of Christ, Prophetess Mary Akasa, on 26th October 2024. Honorable Speaker, the late Prophetess Mary Akasa, a legendary preacher, was born on 2nd December 1964 in Ebusiralo village in Luanda, Vihiga County. Prophetess Akasa typifies the unwavering resilience and determination of the girl child. Having lost her parents at the age of about 8 years old, she had to work extra hard to shape the path that led to her destiny. In her quest to earn a living as an orphan, the late Prophetess Akasa moved to Nairobi, where she worked as a house girl, as a house help in Kikuyu, Kiambu County, until she left to do God's ministry. Her journey as a prophetess began in Muslim area, presently Kabira Ward in Nairobi County, where she founded the Jerusalem Church of Christ and was the first to ever bring us a person who she called Jesus. Honorable Speaker, apart from preaching and healing the souls of people, the late Prophetess Mary Akasa also healed lost futures and transformed the lives of many young people in Kawangware, where her church is domiciled. She will be fondly remembered for drug abuse and crime by counseling them, offering them a place to call home, and providing them food and other basic needs. These acts of mercy by the late Prophetess Mary Akasa through her Jerusalem Church of Christ substantially reduced insecurity in Kawangware and will surely outlive her life. The departed prophetess will also be remembered for her unique approach that blended Christianity with African traditional spirituality, characterized by vibrant music, drumming, chanting, and spirited faith healing. She will also be celebrated for her strict enforcement of Christian values, including punctuality. The no-nonsense late prophetess never tolerated lateness for church services and had no patience for congregants who came late to her church. Honorable Speaker, as the late prophetess Mary Akasa will be laid to rest on 16th November 2024, she can be celebrated as a woman who contributed immensely to the growth of the African evangelical movement in Kenya. I take this early opportunity to condole with the family and friends of the late prophetess Mary Akasa and the Christian fraternity for the loss of this extraordinary servant of God. May her soul rest in peace. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, KJ. 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you. I also want to thank my twin MP, Member of Parliament for Dagoretti North, for honoring the late Mary Akasa with this eulogy and presenting it to the House of Parliament so that we can communicate it to the world that a great Kenyan has gone to go with the Lord. Mr. Speaker, the prophetess Mary Akasa is not an ordinary person. She was a person of great exploits, rising from a hustler to become one of the biggest household names in Kenya. And Mr. Speaker, I've got to say that while her style of evangelizing might not have been your usual, it would have been curious in the way she approached it. I remember as a young person being told of a story of Jesus Christ coming to Kawangware and departing Kawangware in a Peugeot 504, Mr. Speaker. And
you know very well that's not true. Yes, yes. Yes, Osoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to join the Honorable Beatrice in mourning with the people and the Christian fraternity for the loss of prophetess Mary Akasa. Honorable Speaker, my family has got so many children named Mary Akasa. My family has got so many children named Ishmael. My family has got so many children named Lona, because Lona happened to be the mother of Mary Akasa, and Ishmael happened to be the father of Mary Akasa. Honorable Speaker, I was a young man, a young boy, when I never knew then, but I was a young boy when Mary Akasa, and I had attended that service as a very young boy, when Mary Akasa told us that Jesus Christ had visited us in church, Honorable Speaker. I was a young boy, and I must confess that I believed her then, because I believed that I had seen Jesus with my naked eyes, with my very own naked eyes, Honorable Speaker. Later, I got to realize that it was the passion of Christianity that she had in her that pulled her and pushed her to even create a Jesus by herself. And I believe now she's met the real Jesus, even as she rests. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Walter Wino.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. This is a request for a statement regarding revival of South Nyanza Sugar Company, Sony, and other state-owned sugar mills. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock regarding rehabilitation and revival of Sony and other sugar companies in the country. Honorable Speaker, there are 16 sugar mills in the country with a total processing capacity of 51,450 metric tons of cane per day. However, the current capacity utilization for most mills is estimated to be 56%, which is attributable to old machinery, poor factory equipment maintenance, fluctuating supply of cane, and inappropriate processing technology. Most state-owned sugar mills are operating old and inefficient machinery, limiting sugar production to about 700,241 metric tons against a domestic demand of about 1,100,000 metric tons a year. Bridging the deficit through importation from Comesa region and the international market is hurting profitability of ailing local sugar millers. Honorable Speaker, notably, the cost of sugar production, especially by the state-owned mills, is comparatively high due to inefficiencies along the value chain, inadequate maintenance of factory machinery and equipment, low sugar recovery as a result of poor cane quality, inappropriate processing technologies, and low skill competencies. To mitigate these hindrances, it is necessary for the government to implement its pledge of rehabilitation and revival of Sony and other state-owned companies in the country so as to enhance sugarcane availability, sugarcane supply, and debottlenecking, as well as process automation of the plants to operate at its optimal levels. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock on the following. A, an outline of the plans in place by the ministry to urgently procure new crushing equipment for Sony Sugar Company to replace the old one, which was acquired in 1979 and now requires Kenya shillings 400 million for maintenance to keep in operating. B, to the immediate and long-term strategies the government plans to implement to curb the frequent equipment breakdown, which impacts heavily on the company's output and results in low production and low morale among workers and farmers. C, the reasons why there has been a delay in paying the outstanding salary arrears of Kenya shillings 800 million for the Sony Sugar Company workers who in the past have endured various economic hardships and poor working conditions at the factory. D, a comprehensive report on the status of sourcing a strategic partner to invest in restoration of the company to profitability, hence improving the welfare of smallholder sugarcane farmers and employees of the Sony Sugar Company. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Owino. Your statement is committed to the Committee on Agriculture. Bring a response in 2 weeks before we break. The statement requested by Honorable Yakub goes to Rhodes, GK. You bring the response in 2 weeks.
I will do so,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Speaker.
Before we go to responses, Honorable Mchomba, I called out, you are not here. We go back to order number 5. Are you ready to? Why aren't you ready? Why is it in the order paper?
I'm waiting for the clerk to bring it for signature.
Okay. Right, we go back to response to statements. Dr. Mutunga, you said you had a response which you just want to lay on the table. Go ahead and do so.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, today, the 14th of November 2024, I laid to the table of the House the response to a statement regarding strategic food reserve in the country as requested by the Honorable David Kiplagat, MP Soy. And I don't know, I can't see David Kiplagat, Honorable Speaker. I believe you'll be able to see this report. Thank you.
Okay. Lay it on the table. Response to Wilberforce Oundo. JLAC Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Even before I start, I confirm I have given a copy of the response to the Honorable Wilberforce Oundo, and therefore allow me kindly to make the statement in an abbreviated version because he has the full particulars of the response. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, the request for statement was made by the Honorable Wilberforce Ojambo Oundo, MP for Funyula, and the response has come into the various issues raised as follows. The first issue was the status of implementation of the recommendations of the Maraga Task Force report, specifically in relation to the promotion of prison officers, some of whom have stagnated at the same job group or grade for over 10 years, and the constitution of the Prison Council is provided for under Section 21C of the Prisons Act. The response is that promotions in Kenya Prison Service is a process which is guided by the Public Service Commission with respect to the scheme and service for prison officers, uniformed personnel, revised in October 2014. As a result of this, the Prisons Department has been filling vacant positions through interviews. And as a result of that filling, the correct position as we speak today is that we have 2 Deputy Commissioner General, 8 Senior Assistant Commissioner General of Prisons, 10 Assistant Commissioner General of Prisons, 114 Commissioner of Prisons, 311 Senior Superintendent of Prisons, 168 Superintendent of Prisons, Assistant Superintendent of Prisons are 0, while Chief Inspector of Prisons is 122, Inspector of Prisons is 862, Senior Sergeant in Prisons is 399, while Sergeants are 1,487, and Corporals are 2,754. Appointment of Commissioner General is that this is settled now because we have had the appointment of Mr. Patrick M. Arando by His Excellency the President implemented on the 12th of July 2024. As regards the review of the establishment, as part of the broader and sustainable approach in addressing stagnation, the service conducted a comprehensive review of the authorized staff establishment of 37,868 uniformed officers, as a result of which these promotions were made. As regards career guidelines for uniformed prison officers, we confirm that the service is in the process of developing career guidelines which will establish clear entry and exit pathways for officers enlisted as general duty personnel, as well as those enlisted as professionals, technicians, and artisans. As regards issue number 2, any plans to provide decent housing for prison officers under the affordable housing program, and if so, the status of these arrangements, we confirm that the Kenya Prison Services has actually consulted the State Department for Housing and Urban Development for consideration in the provision of the houses under the Affordable Housing Program. And as a result of this consultation, a program is being developed for a minimum of 5,000 houses or units within 3 years under that particular program. As a result of which now, the Kenya Prison Services would be proposing for continuation of the National Police Service housing scheme to be continued to complement the above programs. As regards issue number 3, the status of harmonization of terms of service, including salaries for all officers under the various services, specifically between the National Police Service and the Kenya Prisons Service, to ensure parity and fairness in remuneration and working conditions. This was recommended by the Maraga Task Force, and we confirm that the prison officer salaries are paid based on the salary structure approved by the Public Service Commission and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. But we also confirm that having received the recommendation by the Maraga Task Force for the harmonization specifically for grades that have similar entry qualifications between the two services, the Kenya Prisons Service has established a task force to harmonize the salaries And this is in progress, especially after the last review was effected. To confirm that the difference today, as we speak, between members of the National Police Service have only an extra 2,000 shillings higher than the members of the prison service. But the technical team, which constitutes of the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Interior, and the coordination of national government, and the representatives from the National Police Service and the Administration Police and the Prisons Service, is actually working on this jointly to ensure that the salaries are harmonized and there is no difference between the lower kanda and the higher kanda in the services programs in the country. That basically is the response.
If that is your abbreviated statement, how was the main statement?
It would have taken me double the time I've taken, because I've just tried to abbreviate it. I would have read it longer than I have done.
Oh, no.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As much as I appreciate the challenges and the difficulties which my friend Sir George has gone through to read a statement that has cleverly skirted around the issues at hand, but I can't take a blame. I cannot directly blame him because he's just a messenger. And where we come from, you don't slaughter the messenger. You send the messenger back with a message to refill up the missing gaps. Honorable Speaker, first of all, the statement has got so many promises, yet with no specific timelines. It leaves the question to beg, will yet anything happen? For example, the service actively in consultation with the Public Service Commission to fast-track the process of facilitate feedback. When that will come, only God, the Almighty God knows. The final report on career guidelines will be submitted to the Public Service Commission for approval. Nobody knows when that will happen. Prisons Council, no mention at all. When will it be formed as proposed in the Maraga and Masden Madoka's report? Again, Honorable Speaker, about housing. And Honorable Speaker, many of us who have attended, who have even visited any prison in this country, will sympathize and empathize and feel sorry for the poor state of housing of prison officers. It was even bad for the prisoners until Uncle Moody came in and said prisoners also are human beings. They deserve to enjoy some basic human rights. So, Honorable Speaker, again, it is very general. No specific timelines, no program given. I know, Speaker, I want to lead somewhere. I'm going to lead him somewhere.
You're taking a very long route.
Yeah, but allow me to lead, because, Honorable Speaker, the prison service plays an extremely important role.
What you should do, Honorable Undo, the statement has been given by the chair. He says he gave you an advance copy. So seek a clarification. What you are doing is now
this is what
debating and disputing.
No, this is what I want him to do, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Two things. Number one, please go back to the sender to give you the timelines in implementing the promises they have given, or the undertakings, or the statement that are made here, timelines. Second, Honorable Speaker, there's a very fundamental issue, and I think Sir George noticed the absurdity of it and tried to be clever, but I already knew. Honorable Speaker, the joint technical team that has been formed to harmonize the salaries does not excluded the prison service. And this is what it says. The prison service was not represented in the technical team. So when they were setting, risk allowances or service allowances, they had nobody to represent them. They had nobody to talk to them. That's why their allowances were set much, much lower than in all other disciplined services. And they're right. To this end, the prison service has written to the Principal Secretary for Correction Services, seeking intervention in the resolution of this matter. They are all they're all armed services. So I just
all
ask,
you want is to know whether there will be an addendum To the reports.
Yes,
to
when-
include the prison service.
Yes, number one, when the promises made here, when are going to be implemented? Secondly, to what extent can they include the prison services in the technical committee so that when they're harmonizing the terms, they harmonize for all of them because they're all armed forces, they offer critical services.
Thank you.
Finally, Honorable Speaker, is it possible, Sir George, that once they've given you the timelines, me and you can continue to engage so that you can continuously update this House, members of people of Kenya, and the prison officers that the Parliament has not ignored them. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That long speech requires just a very short response.
A short response.
Yes.
In fact, where no timelines are given, we expect this to be done within a reasonable period of time. There's no reason why JLAC will not go back to the prisons department to ensure that we get timelines on when this harmonization is likely to be completed to the benefit of the prison officers that are in service. As regards their houses, 5,000 houses, we have estimated that this will be done in another 3 years because this is construction. We possibly need money, expertise, planning, and what have you, but we have stated that this will be done within 3 years for phase 1, 5,000 houses. Then we continue up to the time when we have about the 40,000 prison officers all accommodated in these buildings. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Joyce Kamene, a response to your statement from Social Protection, member for Thika Town.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the member raised this question on 14th of October, 2024. And there were two questions which I'm going to give her the response, but I'm going also to summarize because the report is huge. She requested for two questions, Honorable Speaker, and the first one was a report on the status of disbursement of NGAF balance for financial year 2022/2023 and 2023 to 2024 to Machakos County and the measure put in place to ensure timely disbursement to enable the continuation of the project approved by the funding. Honorable Speaker, in accordance with NGAF Regulation 2016, the following is the process of applying for the NGAF funds. Regulation 20, that the county committee shall, once in every year through the public notice in all the wards within the county, invite interested members of the public to submit project proposal for funding. And two, the county committee shall receive and review all project proposals and prepare a list of projects to recommend to the board for approval, to approve the project to be funded. And three, the county controller shall submit the list prepared at paragraph 2 to the chief executive officer, who shall submit them to the board for approval of the funding. Honorable Speaker, the chief executive officer is yet to formally receive the county request for the project to be funded. As such, disbursement of the fund to the county cannot be immediately effected. Once the request is received, including the request for disbursement of the NGAF balance for financial year 2023 to 2024 to the Machakos County, the fund will take necessary and procedural measures to ensure timely disbursement of the said fund to the county for implementation of the approved project. The balance as for now, Honorable Speaker, 2023 to 2024 is 14,062,000 to the Machakos County, was disbursed to the county on October 2023, was disbursed to the county in October 2023 once it was formally requested. Honorable Speaker, for the question number 2, the member had asked action taken by NGAF to immediately post Ms. Betty Kanyili Njoni, PFM number 21914-2127, as the fund county coordinator for Machakos County for an interrupted contract at least 1 year in order to ensure effective and seamless administration of the fund, including the timeline for posting. The Honorable Speaker, the National Government Affirmative Action Fund 2016, Regulation 16 provides that the function and composition of the county committee in each county to be, among other, the national government officer in charge of the county responsible for gender affairs or his or her nominee, and the county coordinator be ex-officio member and the secretary to be the committee. The fund has been engaging county gender office on a need-basis as a stopgap measure, mainly due to lack of approved human resource instrument and sufficient fund to cater for personal enrollment. The State Cooperation Advisory Committee, SCAC, noted that such an arrangement of deploying staff from the mainstream government to run the operation of the fund may be detrimental to the performance of the fund. In this regard, the SCAC advised that the fund of the process to be finalizing the development and approval of their human resource instrument and subsequently commence the process of recruiting their own staff subject to availability of the budget. Honorable Speaker, I'll go to where they have advised, they have said, it is against this background, advised by SCAC and the provision of the Public Service Commission Act, that the board in its 92 meeting on 13 September 2024 resolved to phase out the deployed gender officer from acting as county coordinator upon expiry of their respective contract and replace them with a substantive county coordinator to enable the gender office to undertake their critical role of oversight as per the NGAF Regulation 2016. The fund has since deployed a substantive county coordinator, Mr. Mutua Murumba, who was the successful candidate with effect from November 4th, 2024. The officer has since reported and is currently clearing and handing over as per the prevailing human resource policy and procedure manual. I submit, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable member is here. I can give her the report herself.
Kamene, member for Machakos.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker. She has given the report. Thank you, Chair, for the report. But there are a few issues because there have been some changes. Let me say I appreciate the PS, Madam Anne, because she intervened on this issue of the coordinator. And Madam Betty, our contract has been renewed. The issue of funds. You cannot just give us a blanket figure of 14 million. I want full records of the county projects, the value addition, because all those have different votes. Ionini is talking about some 14 million. And our books are showing approved projects that have not, that the money is lying with GAF is 24 million. That's why we are insisting, we want to know where these funds are going and what is happening. We also have funds that have been carried forward. And because of the lack of the coordinator, we have a whopping close to 100 million that belongs to Machakos County. And we need to be reconciled. Let them give us a full report. What is the balance of the bursary funds, the civic education, and also the admin? Because those are funds that are lying at the headquarters because of lack of a coordinator. And I'm happy the PS has given us the gender officer. So I still need our figures and I still need to get the clear records. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Alice. I think those clarifications you can share with the member.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I can share with the members the problem that they had the Machakos County is because they did not have a coordinator, Honorable Speaker, but we have seen from 4th of this month, 4th November, now they have a new coordinator, Mr. Murumba. We are going now to look into the matter because he will be able now to coordinate the county and we know how much money has not been dispersed for Machakos County. Thank you, Honorable. Sorry.
Yes, Joyce Kamene.
Speaker, I would like to correct again. There is nothing like a Mr. Mulumba. We have Betty Kagiri, who Madam PS intervened because she's the one who has been in that office. And her contract has been extended. We are working with her. We are comfortably working with her. So I don't understand where the Mr. Mulumba is coming in from. Thank you.
Yes, Russell, what's your point of order?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, listening to the Chair of Protection, I think she is very clear and she has laid the message there. But also, I must thank the questionnaire there. But what the questionnaire has been saying, she is in contact with the Principal Secretary. So it means, in depth, she may have more information than what the Chair is giving from the floor of the House. So for that reason, as opposed to really burdening the Chair, this will be resolved much more easily, because the amount she is talking about of 100 million, that is actually money for that county for almost three financial years or close to that. So for that reason, as opposed to just ping pong on the floor of the House, this matter can be taken up by the honorable member with the support of the Chair, with the ministry, to give maybe fundamental perspective on the question that is being asked. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair of the committee, liaise with the member and then agree on those minor issues.
Thank you, Honorable.
Whether it's Murumba or whoever, it's neither here nor there.
Okay, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Nolfason Barongo Pomachoge Barabu, a response to your statement by Transport and Infrastructure. GK, you ready? Yes, I am. Barongo is here. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to give a precise response to a request made by Honorable Nofason Obadiah Barongo, Member of Parliament for Bomachoge Barabu constituency, which was requested on 9th October this year. Honorable Speaker, in the statement, the Honorable Obadiah Barongo MP sought to establish, among other things, one, the status of upgrading of the road network in Bomachoge Borabu constituency to bitumen standards, and two, the timelines for the completion of the stored projects in the constituency. Honorable Speaker, the committee received a response from the Ministry of Roads and Transport through the Clerk of the National Assembly on 13th this month, which I now wish to make. Honorable Speaker, on the status of upgrading of the road network in Bomachoge Barabu constituency to be into the roads project 217. Honorable Speaker, with regards to the timelines for the completion of the provisions due to exogenous factors, thus extracted amount, the ministry through KERA is currently reviewing so that shall allow the completion of the remainder of the works upon award. Once the appraisal is agreed upon, we project completion of the project by December 2025. Honorable Speaker, I submit.
Barongo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And thank you, Chairman, for the response that you have given me. I would like to say that I'm not very happy with that response. And that is because of item number 6 and item number 7 on the response. I thank you because on item number 7, you have indicated that an incomplete box culvert disconnects along this road, rendering this road not motorable at all seasons. I wish to update you also that on item number 6, the existing box culvert has actually collapsed completely. And this has inconvenienced Mwananchi greatly because they are marooned away from essential services. Especially, Honorable Speaker, when it rains, it becomes very dangerous. Communities are prevented from accessing their homes completely. Chairman, I would like to notify you that the absence of these two box culverts on item number 6 and 7 on your statement is long overdue and is extremely urgent and needs to be dealt with.
Thank you. GK, can you ensure that is done?
Honorable Speaker, I want to believe that the member appreciates the good work that has been done by the road agency Kera to push your expectations to above 80%, and the remaining percentage will be dealt with soonest as indicated in this response. I think you have only about 7 kilometers, and the box culverts you have mentioned are within that remaining section. So, Honorable Speaker, I once again submit my response.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. Yesterday we had a lot of questions towards the Cabinet Secretary for Road and Transport, but I needed to ask the Chair. Whenever the Cabinet Secretary for Roads comes here, you see many members wanted to ask questions because the response that the department is giving, totally sometimes we feel as members, they are not substantially, they are not giving guarantee. Mr. Speaker, there's the last 2 financial year, and I want the Chair to confirm, the State Department has spent over 400 billion on roads. And the question that we are asking, there are roads that have been left, which were started or were in the program for the last 2 regime. But now you see the 400 billion, they have started new roads. And we wanted to understand what are the criteria. Because when we go to those offices, we take the proposal. Roads are very important. A road connects a country to a country, a county by a county, a constituency by a constituency. But you find one constituency in this republic, I don't want to mention, either because a member is a committee there, or other beneficiary can able to maneuver there. You find out that a road even is given to a church again as a church. Whereas we have areas in this country that there are no roads at all. So I want to ask the Chair, to ask the Chair through the Speaker, if possible, can we have a report on how you locate the roads? On how per constituency or per county? So that we don't have a certain area in this country doing more or benefiting or getting more allocation more than us because we don't know the criteria you are using.
Yes, GK.
Honorable Speaker, I do not know where the member has picked the figure 400 billion from. Looking at the budget that we passed 3 or so months ago, I did not see such a figure allocated to the Ministry for Roads. So that assertion is completely out of order in terms of figures.
Yes, Parashina.
I only said the last 2 financial years. Chair, don't run away. I know one constituency which has gotten 17 billion. And we can go Western or Nyanza or even Mombasa, and we find constituencies that have never even gotten 200 billion, not 200 million shilling. So don't take us round. You know the truth. The last financial year, 2022, 2023, 2023, 2024, a lot of money has been spent on roads.
Yes, Nyamai.
Well, Chair, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Well, I would like to just say that the Honorable Parashina has a point, Mr. Speaker. We would like to, with a lot of respect, ask the Chair for Roads that personally, I think there is a problem, Mr. Speaker. Because my own constituency, Kitui South, and Kitui County as a whole, got about 400 million. Kitui South has less than 100 million, Honorable Speaker, where there are Kera roads and there are highways to be repaired. And Mr. Speaker, I saw a constituency with 4 billion. It's worrying. It is something that this House must discuss. I do not know whether you are going to call us for a kamukunji or what you are going to do, because this is a budget-making institution. If this is a budget-making institution, Honorable Speaker, we are going to be in a lot of trouble with our constituents. Mr. Speaker, I got to know this because I took the trouble to analyze that document because I wanted to know how much has gone to every county. Mr. Speaker, there is a problem and we need support. Chair Roads, we need support from you. Honorable Speaker, we need support from you. I also, as I was looking at Kitui, I had time to look at Bungoma, Honorable Speaker, and I say the picture is not good, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mutunga.
Honorable Speaker, when I stood here yesterday and spoke about Tigania West, some people laughed at me, some of the honorable members. Honorable Speaker, that is one constituency which has 9 kilometers of tarmac in total. I'm talking about Tisa in Kiswahili. And we are with members here who have 300 kilometers of tarmac, Honorable Speaker. In the same house. In the same house. Honorable Speaker, you will speak at your own time. I have also submitted requests in all ways, in all possible ways. Honorable Speaker, we even have signboards of distinguished leaders in this country opening roads in that constituency. Honorable Speaker, there is something seriously wrong.
Did you say this yesterday?
I did say yes.
You said this yesterday.
Honorable Speaker, I'm just joining the members who are saying there is a problem in the road sector. We need needs to be looked into.
GK, can you tell the House?
Honorable Speaker, I know the CS was here yesterday to respond to issues raised by members, and he will be here in the next 2 weeks. He will be here to answer to all those questions. But I will insist that there is no 400 billion that has been allocated to the ministry, even in the last leave alone 2 years, even in the last three years. That figure is erroneous.
Members, so that we don't belabor the point, I assured you yesterday that in 2 weeks, the Minister, CS Chirchir, will be back here on the same issue of roads. So let's make progress. Hold your horses. I'll give you all the time when he comes. Let's go back to order number 6, and allow Honorable Mchomba to table the report. Order number 5, Honorable Mchomba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay the following paper.
Honorable Mchomba, the very least you can do is to apologize to the House for coming late, because I called you out twice.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to apologize for my absence in the morning, in the early afternoon, because I'm coming from my constituency. I had a forum. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the way I'm dressed, covered my head, because I had a forum with the women of Mothers Union.
The Speaker has no knowledge of knowing how you dress when you go to
Mr.
functions.
Speaker, I am dressed like the Mothers Union because I had joined them for a very, very special meeting for the Mothers Union of the ACK Church in my constituency. And being one of them, I had to attend and I had to fellowship with them. My apologies for lateness, but I am here, Mr. Speaker, to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 13th November 2024. A report of the Constitution Implementation Oversight Committee on participation in the Parliamentary Intelligence Security Forum in Washington, D.C., United States of America, from 7th to 8th December 2023. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and once again, my sincere apologies.
Thank you, Honorable Mchomba. Oku Kaunya. Is Meli in the house? Honorable Meli? Honorable Meli Okukaunya has an issue on a statement that he says he requested to you and your committee. Go ahead, Honorable Kaunya.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, on the 16th of October, a response to a statement had requested through the Departmental Committee of Education chairperson was given. In the response to the statement, where had demanded to know why the equipment for Chamasiri TVC had not been delivered and when, the timelines when it would be delivered, the chairperson of the Departmental Committee of Education, Mr. Speaker, assured this House that this equipment will be delivered before 5th of November and that by 5th of November, delivery and commissioning will be complete, and therefore the students of Chamasiri TVC will now utilize this for practical learning. Mr. Speaker, I want to bring to your attention that as of today, that equipment, the delivery, and of course the commissioning has not been done. And Mr. Speaker, I seek for your intervention to be able to guide on what should happen. But Mr. Speaker, it appears that the CS for Education is taking the role of this House, which is the oversight role, very lightly. Because if a statement is read before the House, indicating and confirming even the dates, and then it's not carried out, Mr. Speaker, I think the CS is taking this House for granted. And I would urge, Mr. Speaker, you give direction so that the chair of the departmental committee can be able to take the necessary action to have the equipment for Chamasiri TVC delivered and also explain really what is happening. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Meli, do you have...
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I don't have the answers at now, but you all know, Mr. Speaker, that chairs of committees do deliver information on behalf of the cabinet secretaries to this House. I will endeavor to really find out because it is going to be very bad.
Can you report back on Wednesday afternoon?
I can't report back, Mr. Speaker, because it is going to be very bad that we made a commitment that they shall be brought and be launched. I commit to report back on Wednesday.
Honorable Kaunya, the chair is directed to bring some information on Wednesday afternoon. Next order. Oh, sorry. Majority Leader statement of every Thursday. Osoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. This is the usual statement by the Majority Leader. I'm holding brief for him for today, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2a, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Tuesday, 12th November 2024, to prioritize business for consideration during the week. House Speaker, with regards to the business schedule for Tuesday next week, the House is expected to consider second reading of the following bills, some of which are listed in today's order paper. One is the County Government Revenue Raising Process Bill 2023, the Unclaimed Financial Assets Amendment Bill 2024, the Kenya Revenue Amendment number 2 Bill 2024, the Land Control Bill 2023, the Higher Education Loans Board Amendment Bill 2022, the Political Parties Amendment Bill 2022, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill 2022, the Equalization Fund Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 14 of 2023, and the Universities Amendment Bill of 2023. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, the debate will also be undertaken on the following motions, should they not be concluded today. One is consideration of reports on financial statements of state corporations, Nyanza region, report on the alleged unfair trade practices by foreign investors in Kenya. That report on consideration of the audited accounts of specified state corporations, report of the extraordinary session of the 6th Pan-African Parliament, report on the performance, audit reports on the provisions of services to persons with disabilities by the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, and finally, on that point, second report on consideration of the financial statement of state corporations, training colleges and institutions. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in accordance with the provisions of Standing Order number 42A, 5 and 6, I wish to convey that the following cabinet secretaries are scheduled to appear before the House on the afternoon of Wednesday, 20th November 2024, to respond to questions as follows, Honorable Speaker. A, the Cabinet Secretary for Education will be responding to the following questions. Question by private notice number 016-2024 by the member for Kathiani, the Honorable Robert Mbui, CBS MP, regarding update on the status of preparedness by the Ministry to transition grade 8 learners to grade 9, including the number of classrooms constructed so far across the country. Question number 89 of 2024 by the member for Lamu West, the Honorable Stanley Mudama, MP, regarding consideration of qualified primary school teachers who have advanced and obtained degree certificates for teaching positions in junior secondary schools, commonly known as JSS, and secondary schools in Lamu West constituency by the Teacher Service Commission. Honorable Speaker, question number 3 will be question number 90, 2024, by the member for Westlands, the Honorable Timothy Wanyonyi, MP, regarding the rationale and policy behind the directive of transferring secondary school teachers in physics, chemistry, biology, and history to junior secondary schools. There is also question number 91, Honorable Speaker, of 2024, by the member for Kinango, the Honorable Gozi Rai, MP, regarding status on the delayed payment of pension to Mr. Salim Mdalu Ndegwa, who was a teacher at Nzovuni Primary School until his retirement on 30th June 2022. There is also question number 93 of 2024 by the member for Nairobi County, the Honorable Esther Passaris, MP, regarding status of implementing the House resolution on the standardization of uniforms across the country. Question number 94 of 2024 by the member for Chepalungu constituency, the Honorable Victor Koech, MP, regarding the criteria used to approve primary schools within rural areas to accommodate junior secondary schools, and the criteria used for approval of primary schools to host the JSS centers within urban centers. The question number 95, Honorable Speaker, of 2024 by the member for Chepalungu, also the member for Chepalungu again, the Honorable Victor Koech, MP, regarding the timelines in which the teachers under contract will be considered for recruitment under permanent and pensionable terms. There is question number 96 of 2024 by the member for Nyeri Town, the Honorable Duncan Madhenge, MP, regarding failure by the University of Nairobi Dental School in offering lecturers on orthodontics to the undergraduate and master's degree students, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there is also question number 97 of 2024 by the member for Emuhaya constituency, the Honorable Mboko Milemba, MP, regarding the authorization for purposes of conducting fresh parent association elections in various counties and some counties in the country. Honorable Speaker, there is also question number 98 of 2024 by the member for Yatta, the Honorable Robert Basil, MP, regarding provisions of hardship allowance to technical vocational education and training tutors in Yatta constituency. Honorable Speaker. Question number 99 by the member for Kibwezi West, the Honorable Mwengi Mtuse, MP, regarding the donation of the 12,000 acres of land located at Kisayani, Kibwezi West constituency by the locals to the University of Nairobi in the year 1988 for the establishment of an institution of higher learning. Question number 100, Honorable Speaker, by the member for Suba South, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Karoli Omondi, MP, regarding details of the current deficit of teachers in both primary and secondary schools in Homa Bay County, Migori, Kisumu, Siaya, and Kakamega counties.
Question number 147, Honorable Speaker, by the member for Nakuru County, the Honorable Lisa Chelule, regarding the plans in place by the ministry in collaboration with the Ministry of Energy to subsidize the high cost of electricity in special needs schools. There is question number 148, Honorable Speaker, of 2024, by the member for Matayos, the Honorable Geoffrey Makoha, MP, regarding the number of special schools in the country, both for primary and secondary and ordinary schools, Honorable Speaker. There's also question number 149 by the member for Madare, the Honorable Anthony Oluoch, regarding the measures taken to create working strategies with county governments to ensure both early childhood education, development and primary schools have access to school meals, Honorable Speaker. The Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock, Honorable Speaker, will also be here that very timeline to respond to the following questions, Honorable Speaker. Question number 015 of 2024 by the member from Beera North, the Honorable Geoffrey Ruku, MP, regarding the status of the supply and distribution of subsidized fertilizers across the country in preparation for the planting season. Question number 27 of 2024 by the member for Machakos County, the Honorable Joyce Kamene, MP, regarding programs and policies the ministry has implemented to reduce importation of food to the country and ensure food self-sufficiency, in the country. Honorable Speaker, there is also the question number 101 of 2024 by the member from Beera North, the Honorable Geoffrey Ruku, regarding reasons why Pest Control Products Board, the PCPB, has permitted the use of Roundup in the country, yet the herbicide has been banned in the Americas and Europe due to its scientifically proven carcinogenic effects, Honorable Speaker. There is also question number 102 of 2024 by the member for Chepalungu Constituency, the Honorable Victor Koech, MP, regarding specific measures being undertaken to ensure that dairy farmers in Chepalungu constituency receive competitive prices for their dairy products. There is question number 103 of 2020 by the member for Gishugu constituency, the Honorable Robert Gishimu, MP, regarding the decline in macadamia nut prices and measures aimed at boosting prices for profitability for farmers. There is finally on questions, Honorable Speaker, question number 146 of 2024 by the member for Uasin Gishu County, the Honorable Gladys Bose Sholei, MGH, MP, regarding status of implementation of the recommendation of the National Assembly with regards to public petition number 70 of 2019, Honorable Speaker, on withdrawal of harmful chemical pesticides in the Kenyan market, Honorable Speaker. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee will again reconvene on Tuesday, 19th November 2024, to schedule business for the rest of that week. I now wish to lay this statement, Honorable Speaker, on the table of the House. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Majority Whip. Next order. We are done with the statements. We go to order number 8.
Order number 8, the Cooperatives Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2024, second reading, resumption of debate.
Timothy Toroitich. His balance of 6 minutes forfeited. Wilberforce Oundo, had you spoken to Cooperatives Bill?
I had.
You had?
Yes, yes.
Parashina Sakimba? John Kawanjiku? John Mutunga? Take the floor on the Cooperatives Bill.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the Cooperative Bill 2024. Honourable Speaker, I wish to thank the committee for the good job done, very well done. Honourable Speaker, I may not be a member of this committee, but cooperatives are dear to my life as a member of Parliament and even as a member of the Agriculture Committee. Honourable Speaker, most of the cooperatives in this country are in agriculture, and therefore it is really a bill that we've been looking forward to. This bill comes out to deal the mischief in the management of cooperatives and in the ordering the steps that needs to be taken to have better cooperatives in this country. Cooperatives in this country are many and extensively varied. To resolve the existential problems in cooperatives, Honourable Speaker, the bill speaks to a number of issues, some of which I wish to highlight by way of pointing out some of the issues that the committee needs probably to look at before we come to the third reading of this bill. Honourable Speaker, cooperatives are in many sectors. Cooperatives also were initially functioning very well in this country. They were doing extremely well. But later on, Honourable Speaker, something happened to the cooperative movement, and some of the cooperatives collapsed, especially in the agricultural sector. There has been some terrible mismanagement in some cases, and this legislation therefore comes in to help us manage the cooperatives better. I remember, Honourable Speaker, in 2014, the Cooperative Act that came tackled quite a number of major issues that used to be impeding the performance of cooperatives then. This particular legislative proposal comes in to specifically polish the sector's expectations. The efforts are therefore very well rounded in this particular respect. Honourable Speaker, I will be very specific on some of the clauses within the bill so that I may be of some assistance to the committee. Honourable Speaker, if we look at the objects of this particular bill, the clause number 3, which has the objects, there are a few issues I would like to point out. Number 3 itself, that the object of this act is to provide for a legal framework that promotes a sustainable and competitive cooperative sector for socio-economic development in a devolved system of governance. Socio-economic development in this country will happen if we are able to harness the little that we have. And the little that we have will basically be brained around the factors of production. One of the key factors of production in this country is land, and most of that, what happens to the land, basically becomes the building blocks for the foundation that we need to develop this particular economy. Honourable Speaker, if we have sustainable cooperatives, it therefore means that we are able to develop our people. What happens in an economy, what grows an economy, is to make as many people useful as possible. The more of useful people in terms of contributing to the economic well-being of our country we have, the better we are as a country, and therefore, the better we will be even in the future. If I look at part 2 of, clause 3, subclause 2, which basically starts without prejudice and goes on, specifically part B, which has specified one of the objects as the uniform norms and standards in the registration, regulation, supervision, and management of the cooperatives. We are saying there should be no selective treatment when it comes to cooperatives. There should be no sacred cows. So cooperatives should be uniformly treated in this particular country. Honourable Speaker, there are some, if you look at subclause 2D, in terms of the object 2D, which talks about the areas of concurrence, jurisdiction in promotion, regulation, registration, regulation, and provision of cooperatives have been highlighted and picked. These cross-references makes it important to anchor this particular act in the existing legislation so that the cross-referencing is enabled. And therefore, it becomes a better law as probably, that we had before. Honourable Speaker, I also underlook at clause 4, especially where we are talking about the cooperative principles. And it is violation of these principles which led to the collapse of the cooperatives. The principle of voluntary and open membership. When members are put into a cooperative and they do not agree, there is no homogeneity of the membership. There is no tying, glue for the members, then we have a problem. Democratic, member control. Democracy lacks in quite a number of cooperatives. We have sub-levels of dictatorship, and this makes it impossible for cooperatives to run properly. When you look at the economic participation by the members, decisions made sometimes in some of the cooperatives led to misuse of resources for the former cooperatives, and therefore the cooperatives, suffered. This needs to be looked into very carefully so that democracy persists and economic participation of the members is honored in a way that it will help the cooperatives to grow. So the cooperative principle is key in terms of serving how we move forward in dealing with these cooperatives. Honourable Speaker, looking at the establishment, Honourable Speaker, protect me from the majority whip who seems to be shouting. I don't know what he's trying to say. If he has any contribution, he should do it in an orderly manner so that we can listen to him. Honourable Speaker, I want to pick out two key positions. The position of the Commissioner of Cooperatives at the national level, and the position of the Commissioner, of the Director of Cooperatives at the county level. These two positions are key, Honourable Speaker, and if the functions of these positions are not properly honored, then we cannot have we cannot have progressive cooperatives in this country. Honourable Speaker, these are two positions that need to be vetted by this House so that people can be put to task to explain to the Kenyans the kind of honoring of issues and how they structure their business in terms of developing the cooperatives in this country. Honourable Speaker, when you look at the, there is a clause, clause 14, 2B. Honourable Speaker, the Director of Cooperatives at the county level is given a function of carrying out inspections into the affairs of the cooperatives in the county. Honourable Speaker, let me pause to discuss this particular issue. And this is one of the issues that could have led to the collapse of cooperatives. Honourable Speaker, when somebody is given the mandate or the power to inspect cooperatives, and that goes further to give them the leeway to take decisions, and especially if decisions, these are decisions that lead to the development of those cooperatives. And such a person can revert or reverse such a decision by the leadership of the cooperatives. This is one of the problems that led to the collapse of the cooperatives. Because members of our cooperatives have developed their own strategy, they design their own way of doing business, and they make decisions. Once their decision is affected or changed by an individual who does not even belong to the cooperatives, then it makes the cooperative membership uncomfortable, and therefore it is possible that these cooperatives may not move on as probably expected. Honourable Speaker, I would like to also mention clause number 14. No, that is 14. Clause number 19. Clause number 19. When you look at clause number 19, we have the structure of different cooperatives. The primary cooperatives, the secondary cooperatives, the cooperative federations, and the apex. The fact that we have this tiered arrangement of cooperatives should completely delink it. The honoring should not be be associated with the power to manage the issues of the cooperatives under. In other words, secondary cooperatives should not lord over primary cooperatives. The apex cooperative as union should not lord over the others which are below it. And therefore, it is important for us to take caution on that particular issue. Honourable Speaker, clause 25E which speaks to the fact that one of the roles of the Apex Cooperative is to provide mechanism and framework for alternative dispute resolution for the cooperatives. I would like to suggest that, Honourable Speaker, by way of amendment, and probably the committee has looked at this particular issue, dispute resolution should not be in an institution. We should set an independent body to deal with disputes within the cooperatives so that we do not bring in mischief that probably would lead to problems.
Just give him 1 minute to finish his sentence.
Honourable Speaker, the very last one is clause 61. Clause 61 is long and basically talks about the delegation, the delegation system and the representation. When it comes to sending delegates, Honourable Speaker, we should have the cooperative itself, who is a primary cooperative, being given this opportunity to, in a specific, we should specify how delegates are going to be picked and the power of the delegate as picked. Because when delegates represent an institution in a meeting that is making decisions, they should have the power of the institution, and that particular provision does not seem to say exactly as I've said. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
The Honourable Meli, member for Tinderet. Honourable Kawanjiku, you gave up? Because you had been next.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this bill. This bill, Madam Speaker, is a very, very important bill for our country, more importantly for the socio-economic development of our nation. Cooperative movement in this country, Madam Speaker, was a very powerful movement in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And its contribution, and its contribution to the economy cannot be gainsaid. On that particular issue, Madam Speaker, I just want to say that this bill addresses some of the ills that has affected the cooperative sector for long. In my constituency, Madam Speaker, and my county, the cooperative movement is so huge, especially in the coffee sector, the sugar sector, and even in the milk industry. More importantly, it is in the cooperatives or the cooperators themselves who are able, and the parents and the cooperators of the yesteryears were even able to actually come together and be able to buy farm machinery. Madam Speaker, let me go straight away to the various parts of the bill. That this bill seeks to actually re-establish the cooperative movement in this country. Of the Commissioner for Cooperative Development and at the national level, and the Office of the Director of Cooperatives at the county level. It goes on to actually explain what these two offices will do so as to promote the cooperative movement. Mr. Speaker, this is very important because it has also goes further to show the various structures or levels of cooperatives. In this country, we have the primary cooperatives, which are actually the small cooperatives in the rural sector. We have the secondary cooperative societies, the Federation of Cooperatives, and I want to say this. We also have the Apex Cooperatives, and even those which come together and are even engaged in activities that promote the socio-economic development. I want to say one thing, especially on coffee and even the tea sector. Through the well-managed cooperative sector, farmers have been able to even pay fees for their children. They have been even able to pay medical fees, medical bills. They can even further move on and even engage in savings and credit, even those in housing sector. One of the things that this bill tries to address is the issue of registration of cooperatives. That is in Part 5. Part 4, which deals with the procedures for registration, amendment of bylaws, and protection of cooperatives and SACCO identity. Madam Speaker, one of the things that is affecting cooperators, and more importantly, even in the SACCO, is the issue of registration, bylaws, and by extension, how the cooperators are going to be protected against scrupulous individuals. The bylaws that have been established in this particular bill are very explicit on the membership, they are very explicit on the registration, and more importantly, on how to guard the sector out of bad practices. Part 4 of the bill, Madam Speaker, provides for the rights and liabilities of members. The provision also includes the qualification for membership, share capital, and transfer of shares. We have a number of cooperative societies in this country that have lost or have actually collapsed due to transfer of shares fraudulently by the leadership of SACCOs. They have also collapsed because the membership is not very clear, because the register of cooperators, because I participate because I'm a member of the cooperative movement. The register of cooperators is not also very clear. In this case, the individuals who are involved in this, especially the leaders of the society, when a SACCO has been registered, the membership has to be kept in a very good register. It has to be kept by the Commissioner of Cooperatives, and the shares of that particular cooperatives cannot be changed anyhow, which has actually led to some members losing what they have because of that particular lack of clause. Madam Speaker, in Part 6 of the bill, Part 6 of the bill provides for the duties of cooperatives, which include the responsibility to maintain active physical location. Madam Speaker, sometimes we have what we call briefcase cooperatives. They do not have offices, physical addresses. Madam Speaker, there's a lot of importance on a physical address. At times, many people take it for granted why we need a physical office. It is for the members to know and to be able to fix the kind of place and time they can meet regularly. Instances where briefcase cooperatives have been established, members have been swindled. In this particular case, Madam Speaker, it also gives it also provides actual physical location, copies of the Act and the bylaws, preparation of the budget and books of accounts. All these particular are very important. It is not, a cooperative cannot be run by word of mouth. All the audited accounts, they shall be provided for to the members. And this bill is actually very important because as the members sit, as the members invest, they should know that all those verifiable documents, like the books of accounts, all what the SACCO is doing, actually in that particular place. On the other issue, Madam Speaker, protect me from the majority whip, who is not interested in the cooperative movement, it looks like. Because you moved it, but you allow us to really tell the public the importance of this. You have a very good document, majority whip, which we need to tell the public why they need to support it. Madam Speaker, on Part 8 of the bill provides for the procedures for the amalgamation and division in cooperatives, including primary and secondary cooperatives, AMOASO resolutions, notification, and creditors' distributions of assets and liabilities, and the role of the Commissioner of Cooperatives. This is an aspect where, at times, cooperatives do merge. And I want to say this as a member and a leader in the cooperative movement. Where some small cooperatives merge because of their economies of scale. We've seen a number of smaller cooperatives, actually splinter cooperatives, getting out of the big ones. We want to advise the crop-based cooperatives, the housing-based cooperatives, and even the salaried, or what we call the SACCOs-based cooperatives. It is good for them to really merge. And when they merge, they should know that their rights, their privileges, and even what they are owed are always protected because of this particular part of the bill. With those many remarks, Madam Speaker, I want to say that this bill is very important, very vital for our economy, and more importantly, for the development of the cooperative sector. I want to say that counties like agriculture cooperatives is very, very vital in the devolution movement. And the creation of what we call the Cooperative Technical Forum Committee, which is Government Relations Committee, will enable the national government and the county government to relate well, especially in improving cooperative movement in this country. I support this particular bill, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Likoni, Honourable Mishimboko.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand to support this bill by Honourable Osoro. Honourable Speaker, this bill talks about cooperative movement in our country, and more so in particular, the Saving and Credit Cooperative Organization, what we call SACCO. Madam Speaker, this cooperative, they are very instrumental in terms of pooling capitals or other resources, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, they also facilitate job creation, they also facilitate economic growth and social development, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm very much impressed by this bill because it talks about 4-tier cooperative structure. The first structure is the primary cooperative, where members can engage directly. The second one, it talks about secondary cooperative, where there is what we call mutual support within the members. There is what also we call cooperative federation, where it talks about the network of the cooperatives. And we have what we call apex cooperatives, which is the highest level, which takes all the cooperatives together. Madam Speaker, having these 4 tiers, it means the governance and accountability is going to be very clear. And that is why we are going to avoid so many wrangles and to ensure that members benefit as members of the cooperative. Madam Speaker, if I look on clause 11.1, which I quote, it states, there is established in each county the office of the county director of cooperatives. Madam Speaker, this means there will be a new breath of life for our local economies. It means the administrative functions will go closer to the members at the grassroots level. Because, Madam Speaker, when you are talking about devolution, devolution has to go in so many aspects. And that is why having that director at the grassroots level, or rather at the county level, it means even more bureaucracies which are at the national level are going to be avoided. Madam Speaker, if I also look on this bill, clause 62(5)(a), and I want to quote, which says, in constituting its board of directors, a cooperative shall ensure that not more than 2/3 of the directors are of the same gender. Madam Speaker, we have been talking every day that this law has to be implemented. And you know, Madam Speaker, in any organization which is well inclusive, all inclusive, that means we have women, we have men, we have the vulnerable groups, we have the marginalized groups, we have those who even maybe their economy is very low, but they are also being included in this organization. Madam Speaker, I think we'll be assisting all Kenyans, and that is why I want to support this. Madam Speaker, you can also remember there have been many fraud, and we need to put some mechanism to ensure Kenyans are being protected. And I've seen in this bill, in clause 41, clause 43, and clause 44, which talks about how to protect members from fraudulent schemes. We have been having so many schemes in this country. And these people, they come, they entice us, they tell us so many good things, that we are going to be rich at a go or what, and so many things. But because of this bill, we are going to have some protection. And that is why I support it. My last will be clause 73(1), which stipulates that if an employee has paid the employer the deduction for the SACCO, and the employer does not pay that deduction to the relevant SACCO, then he's going to be liable to pay that deduction, and also if there is any penalty or any interest, is going to pay that. Honorable Speaker, I've been told that there is no time, we have to go to the Committee of All House, but I had a lot to say because cooperative movements are the ones which have made individual businesses as a country to thrive in terms of growth in our economy. I support. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. And lastly, we have the Honorable Member for Githunguri, Honorable Gathoni Wamushomba, then we'll close that debate.
Thank you very much. I'm honored indeed to participate and to be on record that I have supported this bill because this is what we have been waiting for, Madam Speaker. I am a member of many cooperatives in my society, in my community, in my constituency, because obviously you know that Githunguri is one of the biggest producers of milk in the Republic of Kenya. Actually, we are the people who manage the largest milk cooperative society in Kenya and largely in East Africa. Madam Speaker, if there is anything that has made most of the producer activities in agriculture retrogress, is the mismanagement of producer cooperatives and the death of the sector in that matter. Madam Speaker, there are many cooperatives that owned even many buildings in Nairobi after having made profits in the past. When I was growing up, farmers from Murang'a owned the whole of Kirinyaga Road. Farmers from Kiambu were lending other countries money. I remember the Kiambu municipality used to lend Tanzania money that came from producer cooperatives. But something happened along the way, Madam Speaker. People who retired from civil servants, people who were fired for misconduct in government, went down to those producer cooperatives and bribed their way into the management of cooperative societies. And they laundered and stole the money that were meant to grow the cooperative societies and put those cooperative societies to death. As we speak, Madam Speaker, we had a very large cooperative society that owned Imenti House, for example, and many other houses you see down at River Road, near Kikorok Road. And those cooperative societies today, Madam Speaker, they are indebted. They are supposed to be selling off those assets to cover running costs. I am very excited, Madam Speaker, that finally this bill is bringing back the vibrant spirit of cooperative, the successes that we read in our history. Madam Speaker, I am particularly very happy with part 10 of this bill that is going to restrict and limit the borrowing power of people who are going to be entrusted in running the producer cooperatives. In the past, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, there are people who went ahead, borrowed money on behalf of producer cooperatives, and enlisted the assets of such cooperatives and ran away with the loot, only to leave our farmers and our producers desperate and hopeless. I am excited, Madam Speaker, that the accountability and restrictions of loans and investments that are going to be handled by producer cooperatives are going to be limited, and the power to borrow, the power to invest must be accounted for by the cooperative commissioners. Madam Speaker, as I sit down, I am happy that part 11 of this bill has given out a very good way of how cooperative societies are going to amalgamate. In the past, Mr. Speaker, we have had cooperatives deciding on how they are going to divide the cooperative and bring up another fresh cooperative without the blessings of the majority of the owners and shareholders of cooperatives. I am happy that finally the spirit of cooperative is going to come back. We need to give our farmers the benefit that it is time for them to go back to their farms, produce as much, because there is a new law that is going to protect their sweat and their energy. I am supporting this bill. I can't wait to see it pass. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Wamushomba. Now let's go to the next order. Sorry, I forgot. Where is the mover? Mover, you may proceed.
Okay. Honorable Speaker.
Unless you give her your minute.
Yeah, with your indulgence, Honorable Speaker, let me allow the Honorable Sabina to, Honorable Sabina.
No,
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to...
No. Honorable, I've only allowed Honorable Sabina to take some of your time. Then, yes, and then you also do it very briefly, and then we can
Madam
to
Speaker,
the next order.
Thank you very much, and I want to really thank the mover of this bill. Madam Speaker, I came running because I needed to speak and say I support this bill 100%.
Cooperatives, Madam Speaker, originated originally from Murang'a, as Honorable Mushomba has mentioned. By the time cooperative society in Murang'a County, back then in the 60s and 70s, could lend money to the national government. So, Madam Speaker, I am so happy that we are going to manage these cooperatives. I stand here to honor one man, the late Mushiri, who was a cooperative officer, who actually became the president of cooperatives in the entire Africa, and he was from Murang'a County, specifically Maragua Constituency, specifically Kamahoha village. So, Madam Speaker, as I support, there is only one element, maybe I don't know where the honorable member can add into this bill. We had cooperatives university. Then it was cooperatives college, which strictly trained students on management of cooperatives. And that's why we are having many loopholes, because we turned all our technical institutes, all our colleges to universities, and we diverged from what we were training before. So the move of the bill as you move, let's see how we can be able to incorporate the training of cooperators so that even the young people can join cooperatives and help their elderly parents in management. I really thank you even for donation of that 1 minute, and I support.
Okay, Mover, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want first to take this opportunity to thank all the honorable members that have contributed to this bill. And Honorable Speaker, to also appreciate the immense support that the honorable members have accorded to this bill, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the unison way that this bill has been supported clearly shows that it was really timely. It came in timely. And it really indeed that this is what Kenyans needed at this point in time, especially on matters coming together and putting resources together. Also, Speaker, as I reply to this bill, I wish to remind the public and even the honorable members that the bill's intent is rooted in under Article 186 of the Constitution, and is part of a broader national cooperative policy whose intent, Honorable Speaker, is to harmonize the cooperative governance across the counties and ensuring uniform standards while respecting devolution, Honorable Speaker. Because the acts that we had, Honorable Speaker, before in regard to the management of the cooperatives, Honorable Speaker, then did not really consider the devolved units. And that is why it's very important that we harmonize this between the counties and the national government, and make it easy, of course, for the management, Honorable Speaker. This also, Honorable Speaker, this bill also addresses the issues of the sectoral challenges that arises from the management, from the governance and financial resilience, which, of course, seeks to improve the cooperative governance by embedding principles of transparency and strong financial oversight, and thereby protecting members' investment. Because we all live in this country, we've seen people coming up, Honorable Speaker, with SACCOs, what they call SACCOs or cooperatives, and they hoodwink the Kenyans whose genuine intent of growing their wealth